What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody's doing good today, tonight, whenever you're watching this. If I sound a little different, it's because I'm starting to deal with a little bit of a cold again. It was cold today and yesterday, and the weather's been kind of messing with me, so yeah, I'm starting to feel a little bit like crap, but other than that, I've been doing alright lately, I guess. Anyways, if you guys hear any noise in the background, for one, it's because I'm playing a game. I just sat down to play a game. And two, I got a radio playing in the background. I got some country music playing. Sometimes I like to have my radio on while I'm playing my game. So, which I don't play my game all the time, but, if I got nothing better to do, then sometimes that's what I do. And I also apologize if the video lighting is crappy. I'll try and edit that when I put this video together. I do have some lights on, but, for this room, no matter how many lights I put in here, it just still looks dark. So, like I said, I'll try and edit this video if I can, make it look a little brighter. Now, before I get too far into this subject, I will say this right now. Do I think it's fucked up on how George Floyd was killed? Absolutely. Do I think the cop that killed him deserves each and every consequence that's coming his way? Absolutely. Do I think that George Floyd needed to die? No. He shouldn't have died. We could all agree that it's fucked up on how he died. Hell, there's even a lot of conservatives out there that say that as well. Candace Owens has said it. Officer Tatum has said it. Heavy Duty Country even said it. Adam Calhoun, Charlie Kirk, Ryan Fournier, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Isabel Brown, Jordan Rachel, the list continues. A lot of the conservatives out there have even said that it's completely screwed up on how he died and that he shouldn't have died. I will say that right now, and they've all said that right now. I've even stated that in some of the other videos I have done on this channel. I will say this right now. Regardless of the lifestyle that somebody lives, they should never have to die all because of what they do. I will say that right now. Not only that, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you are, what you do in your life, regardless of your race, your gender, your sexuality, whatever. I don't think anybody out there deserves to die, no matter what. And also, I will say this right now. If I sound like I'm being super political about this, I'm really sorry. But you know what? This is something that's got to be said because a lot of this does have things to do with politics. I really hate to make these subjects about politics because these things really shouldn't even be about politics. I hate to be the one that politicizes these things. So with that said, a couple weeks ago, I made a video on this channel talking about this 18-year-old named Cayler Ellingson who was murdered when a guy named Shannon Brandt decided to ram his car into that boy, all because Cayler said that he was a Trump supporter, and the guy that killed Cayler was a liberal. Shannon only killed Cayler all because of their difference in political opinions, which is completely fucked up. Look, even if Shannon Brandt was a conservative and Cayler Ellingson was a liberal, I still think that this would be fucked up. Regardless of somebody's political opinions, nobody should ever have to be harmed or get killed all because they think a certain way. You know what? There's a lot of people out there that I disagree with, and there's a lot of people out there that I can't stand. But that doesn't mean I want to go and fucking kill them. And you know, the thing that drives me nuts about this is the media isn't even talking about this. I have not heard the liberal media say a damn word about this subject. You know why? All because Cayler was a conservative and Shannon was a liberal. You know, again, I hate to be the one that sounds political for saying this, but if this was the other way around, this would be talked about endlessly on the media. CNN would be talking about it nonstop. The Young Turks would be talking about it nonstop. You'd have liberal YouTubers out there like Hassanabi or Sam Cedar talking about this nonstop and talking about how conservatives are such evil people. Hell, you'd even have liberal celebrities out there like Lizzo, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Alec Baldwin, Michael Moore, Rihanna, Madonna, Miley Cyrus, Harry Styles. You know, the list would continue with the amount of liberal celebrities out there. Oh, yeah, and you'd have people like Joe Biden talking about how conservatives are a major part of the problem, like he always does. Then you'd have politicians out there like Hillary making a bunch more comparisons on how people that support Trump are like people that like Hitler, you know, basically compare Trump supporters to Nazis and all this bullshit. But hey, since it has something to do with a liberal killing a conservative, you're not going to hear a damn word coming from these liberals. And for those of you that are going to sit there and say that I'm a piece of shit for talking about how liberals would respond if this was the other way around, man, shut the fuck up. Like I said in the beginning of the video, there were a lot of conservatives out there that spoke out against the cop that killed George Floyd. So for you to sit there and say that we wouldn't have said anything if it were the other way around, you're wrong. And your opinion does not matter. Which that kind of brings me to the main point of this video. The liberal media continued nonstop, and yet they're still doing it as well, talking nonstop about George Floyd, you know, trying to glorify him as, you know, this innocent person, or, you know, glorify him like he was some sort of superhero or some sort of god, or just somebody that has done good for his community. Which, mind you, he was not a very good person at all. George Floyd was a career criminal. And had he not resisted arrest before he died, that probably would have not have happened. And again, I'm not saying George Floyd deserved to die, and I'm not saying he needed to. Alright? Again, it's fucked up on how he died, okay? I will not disagree on that. But there's a difference between the way George Floyd died and the way Cayler Ellingson died. George Floyd died because he resisted arrest. Cayler Ellingson died because he said that he was a conservative. The cop that killed George Floyd is facing a very long time in prison with a very expensive bond. The guy that killed Cayler Ellingson isn't even getting that much of a sentence. And the sad thing is, you know, when George Floyd was killed, you know, for some reason people started pointing fingers at Donald Trump and said things like, fuck Trump, fuck you if you voted for him, fuck you for the death of George Floyd. What the fuck did George Floyd have to do? Or I'm sorry, what did Donald Trump have to do with George Floyd? That's my question. And I would ask about the same thing with what Joe Biden had to do with the death of Cayler Ellingson, but I won't say the same thing. You know why? Because a few weeks before Shannon decided to kill Cayler, Joe Biden went on a rant and mentioned how people that are conservative, people that are MAGA Republicans, or people that just support Trump in a way, are extremists. And basically went on to say that conservatives are a major part of today's society. Talking about how we're the big problem here. Like, what the fuck, man? All I gotta say is, I think if Biden hadn't made that speech in the first place, Cayler Ellingson would still be alive. Cayler Ellingson still had an entire life ahead of him. Mind you, Cayler was only 18. The guy that killed Cayler was in his low 40s. So, if you support the fact that the liberal media and the liberal politicians out there, as well as many of the liberal celebrities, continuing to bring up George Floyd, well, you're not going to complain and bitch about them for not bringing up what happened to Cayler Ellingson. You're a fucking piece of shit. The fact that liberals out there are complaining and bitching about what happened to George Floyd, but aren't saying a damn word about Cayler Ellingson, just makes me fucking sick. And look, I'm sorry about my foul language, alright? But this gets me freaking heated. You know what? I got a question here. How is it that it's okay to bring up politics and sit there and say things like fuck Trump or fuck you if you think this way or that way when it comes to people like George Floyd or Breonna Taylor or Rashard Brooks or whoever? But yeah, if you bring up politics when it comes to people like Cannon Hinnett or Cayler Ellingson, Molly Tibbetts, or anybody out there that was killed, then all of a sudden it's, oh, well, if you bring up politics, then you're a personal piece of shit. Look, like I said in the beginning of the video, I hate to be the one that politicizes shit, but you know what? There's a difference between the shit that happened with George Floyd and some of them and what happened to people like Cayler Ellingson. Now look, I may have said this already, and I'll say it again. Both the death of George Floyd and the death of Cayler Ellingson are just as fucked up. Both the cop that killed George Floyd and the guy that killed Cayler Ellingson are pieces of shit. And they shouldn't even be walking free. I am glad that the cop that killed George Floyd is facing prison time. But for the guy that killed Cayler Ellingson and is not facing that many consequences for his actions, that dude should have the book thrown at him. In my opinion, Shannon Brandt should be facing just as much prison time as Derek Chauvin. Regardless of how I feel about Cayler Ellingson and George Floyd, they both had a lot of family and a lot of close friends that cared about them. And for that, my heart goes out to each and every person that was close to George Floyd and Cayler Ellingson. Yeah, I know George Floyd's death happened 2 years ago, but considering people want to keep talking about him, and considering I even had to make this video because people want to keep talking about George Floyd nonstop and not say a word about Cayler Ellingson, I just had to say this. And I'm not saying that I don't care about what happened to George Floyd. Believe me, I do care. So with all that being said, before I cut this video, I also want to bring this up. So, my heart also goes out to everybody that was affected by Hurricane Ian. I know a lot of people have either lost their home or, their property got heavily damaged by Hurricane Ian. There's a lot of people that may have lost their jobs from Hurricane Ian as well. And for that, I am sorry to hear about. And for anybody that has lost their life during Hurricane Ian, my heart goes out to them big time. And I am praying for all their family and their friends. If you've lost your home or, you had to clean up a bunch of damage on your property from Hurricane Ian and you're watching this video, I'm sorry that you had to go through that. I really am. I have a great aunt that lives down in the Tampa area, and I also got a great aunt and uncle that own winter property just south of Orlando, and luckily, their properties didn't take on too much damage, but their areas got hit pretty hard. So with all that being said, I probably pissed some people off for making this video, and I'm sure this video probably will receive some hate or judgment from people, bringing up a bunch of bullshit or coming up with whatever pops up in their head, I guess, and whatever. You know what? More than half people that hate on my videos are just people that hide behind either fake names or they don't have that many subscribers on their channels. So that doesn't bother me much anyways. And even if somebody did have a bunch of subscribers on their channel and they're hating me for what I said, I still don't give a shit. I'll say that right now. But anyways, jokes aside, but yeah, like I said, this video will probably receive some criticism, but if you do agree with what I'm saying, feel free to give this video a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe if you want to. If you disagree with what I'm saying and you respect my opinion, but you feel like you need to say something, then feel free to say something. I'm not going to hate you for your opinion. I will respect it as much as possible. But anyways, I hope everybody's having a good day, good night whenever you're watching this. Fall's here, starting to see more foliage outside. I want to try and get more pictures and videos to upload to my original channel, because I don't post my political videos on my original channel. I try and keep that stuff off of that and put a lot of that on this channel. But yeah, that's pretty much all. Y'all have a great day now.